Good morning, folks. Today we're gonna be talking something different. We're gonna be talking about dragon fruit. I have been trying to grow dragon fruit, not commercially. Planting is just my hobby, and I have been watching lots of YouTube videos on dragon fruit. And one of the things I've learned about dragon fruit is you have to set up some trellis so the dragon fruit could run. And this is one of the first one I planted with the trellis that I made from scrap wood. It's a 4x4 post, and I use a tire rim at the top with some 2x4s, and it's a little taller than the usual ones that they do on YouTube or they do commercially, but this is the result. It's about a year and a half, and this year I got some fruits already. This is another flower. This is a fruit right here. This is a fruit right here. Another fruit right here. And you got some flowers. Should open up by next week. I got two different variety on this one. This one is a red flesh, and this one is the white flesh. So I have been searching on YouTube for an easier way to grow dragon fruit rather than having to spend money and the labor to build trellis and digging this hole here. I'm in the Virgin Islands and everything is rock. That's why it's called Rock City. So it's labor intensive setting up trellises. So what I came up with, I couldn't find any videos on YouTube that supported using a live tree as the trellis. So I have decided to try it out using a tree as my trellis. Now this is a tree that got traumatized in the hurricane, and that tree died. So I ended up cutting the top and used this tree as a trellis, and here it goes. I've had this one has a fruit on it and had some more fruits earlier in the season, and I'm just using this old dead tree as a trellis. Now let me show you another tree, another live tree that I used as a trellis. Check out this one. It's not a fruit bearing tree. I cut the top and allow it to spread itself, and this year we had some fruits from it. Let me show you. There's one fruit right here, one fruit right here. But what I have learned by watching all the YouTube videos is that dragon fruit requires some sunlight. So this is not a fruit bearing tree, so I cut the top. The tree will not die, it will continue growing, and every so often I will use my clipper and just clip the growth, the branches, the new branches off. So by next year this should have lots of fruit on it. And what I did for the roots, let me just show you. I made a small bank. I just used some rocks and did a dirt bank, and basically I just used the soil that was there. I didn't buy any soil. It's a good root system in here, and it's growing. It's spreading its roots. All that is roots. and it's doing pretty good right here. And that's just using a live tree, a non-fruit bearing tree, as the trellis. I do the same thing with my passion fruits. Just allow my passion fruits to run on a non-fruit bearing tree. So all these are passion fruit vines, passion fruits. That's your passion fruit right here. So let me show you some others. Check out my creative step using tires, truck tires. These have a little incline, was a little unsafe, so I just used truck tires and made a nice step that I could use. So let's go back to the dragon fruit. So right here, that's a canip tree. It's a fruit bearing tree, but there's so much of that here in St. Thomas that I could sacrifice this tree. So I did the same thing, used some rocks and made a dirt bank and planted some dragon fruit. This tree is just about my height, so it's just about 6 feet 2 tall, and I put 4 pieces of dragon fruit in here. They have already started growing. Check it out. There's some shoots here, 2 different variety. So what I'm gonna do is allow the dragon fruit to run up this tree, and when it get to this fork in between those branches, allow it to bend over, and that's when the dragon fruit will bear, when it start hanging over. And it would be easy to reach. It's just about my height, and all I got to do at this point is control the growth. So you see those new growth, every so often I just break them off. The tree will not die, it will just continue growing. You know, all those new growth after every so often, and I prevent this tree from growing up tall, and this will be my live trellis for my dragon fruit. I've done the same thing to this older tree. Not very tall. This tree may be about 7 feet tall, and it's on an incline, and as you could tell, I have dragon fruit running up this tree. I got about 6 pieces in the root. What I did, I used my garden tool and loosen up all the soil in the roots of this tree, and remove all the rocks that was there, and throw some soil in there, and planted the dragon fruit. And it's gonna run up, and when it get to the branches right here, which is my height, I will just allow it to hang over the branches. Go up to this branch, make it hang right over, and this would be my live trellis for my dragon fruit. And the tree will continue growing, and every so often I'll just use my clipper and clip the toppings, clip the young branches. This other tree, same thing, it got traumatized in the hurricane, and this tree died, and here I am using it as a trellis. So look, this one already got to the top, and I'm just gonna allow it to just hang over and continue growing. This other tree, it's a live tree again. I cut the top, as you could see. I cut the top of this tree, and I got some dragon fruit growing. Now let me show you what I did here. All those ropes you see there are just safety lines. This is not a level surface. It has an incline, and just for my safety, sometimes the little rocks roll under your feet and can give you a nasty fall. So those are just safety lines that I could just grab on while I go down the incline. So all those are just for my safety. So what I did here again, I made a dirt bank with some rocks, just using the same soil, no particular potted soil, nothing like that. And I used those 2 trees there. I got this old piece of gate, and I figure I'm gonna just let the dragon fruit run on those 2 trees and that piece of gate. And I got quite a few plants in here. This one is already shooting. And here again I cut the top of this tree, and this tree is just about 7 feet tall, so the dragon fruit will run up this tree and then hang over the branches, and there's enough sunlight for the dragon fruit because that's what they require, sunlight. They need sunlight, and I'm not spending the money on the material for trellis. I'm using a live tree. This is another tree. It's a non-fruit bearing tree, and those trees will never die. You see, I cut the top and it will continue to grow. So I could just come right here and just break off some of the branches. You don't want to break off all the branches. You still want to leave some branches so the energy continues to grow and the tree will not die. So, and I got a few 2 different varieties in the bottom of this tree. It's a live tree, enough sunlight. There's a young tree. I just put 2 sticks in here. Okay, this is the canip tree. Let me go up my step. Let me show you another tree that I cut. This is a custard apple tree, pomegranate tree, sugar apple, papaya, sugar apple, this is another tree that I cut. It was a huge tree, and I cut the top and planted a few dragon fruit here. Soursop. Look at the lizard eating my soursop. This lizard is eating my soursop. Made a hole in it. I'll leave it for you. Lucky you. So yeah. So right here, there's a young tree. It's not a pure fruit bearing tree, and I planted some dragon fruit in it, and I'm gonna just trim the branches. I clipped the end of those branches so it could strengthen this. It's still a young tree, but I'm experimenting with that. Allow that tree to harden up, and the branches, the dragon fruit is already growing. Some nice sprout right here, and I'm just gonna allow it to bend right over the branches, and that will be the trellis right here. And there's enough sunlight. That's what the dragon fruit. Yeah, so right here I just use 2 pieces of pipe and just drive it down into the soil and use that as a trellis. And look at it, beautiful plant right here. And right to the right of it, another non-fruit bearing tree. I clipped the top. This one is about 9 feet tall. I had to use a ladder, cut the top to allow some sunlight, and I got dragon fruit running all over it. By next year I should have fruits from this tree. And I planted some on this one as well, a different type of tree. And just gonna allow it, when the dragon fruit get to the top, just continue to hang over. You know, this tree is just about my height right here, and it's a solid tree. See the size of this, about 2-inch thick stem right there. And over here it's a young tree. I got a few plants in here, young tree, and this is what I did to the top. I trained the branches, bend them over, and I'm using a piece of tire rim, the end of the tire, and this one is almost to the top already, almost to the top. And I'm just gonna use this tree as my trellis. Another one here, another one here, just. And as you see, there's plenty of sunlight, plenty of sunlight. So just a creative idea to grow dragon fruit without the expense of building trellis, because you can accumulate some expense whether you're using the concrete or the wood, 4x4 post, or some people use the PVC. It's labor intensive and there's some expense, so that's just a little shortcut. But I'm excited for next year to have some fruits. So yeah, just sharing some information on dragon fruit planting. I am not a dragon fruit expert, let me just say that. I am not a farmer. I consider myself a planter. I just enjoy planting as a hobby. I don't do it commercially. I plant for myself and I share with friends. I don't sell anything. But I've been very interested in the dragon fruit for the past 2 years, and this is how far I've gotten. So until then, signing out, just sharing the love. Adios.